An AI agent just beat the WebVoyager benchmark. Not a research lab. Not a billion-dollar company.
A small team, an open-source library called Alumnium, and a result that put them at the top of the leaderboard for autonomous web browsing.
The WebVoyager benchmark is the closest thing we have to a standardized test for AI web agents.
It throws real-world tasks at an AI: book a flight, find a product price, fill out a web form, and measures how often it actually completes them.
Most agents fail more than they succeed. Alumnium claims state-of-the-art results on this benchmark when paired with Claude. Let's talk about what that actually means in practice.
Alumnium is a Python library built specifically for AI coding agents that need to control a browser. It wraps Playwright, the browser automation tool most developers already know, and adds a semantic layer on top. Instead of your AI needing to find an exact CSS selector or XPath, Alumnium reads the page structure, extracts what's meaningful, and hands the agent a simplified, structured view of what's on the screen.
Think of it like this: a raw browser page is noise. Hundreds of DOM elements, scripts, ads, invisible divs.
Alumnium filters that down to signal the buttons, inputs, and links that actually matter for the task at hand. Then Claude, or any compatible model, can reason about that clean structure and decide what to click, type, or navigate to next. In a real demo, you give it a task: go to a travel site, find the cheapest round-trip flight from Berlin to Lisbon in the next 30 days, and return the price.
A vanilla agent often gets lost: wrong tab, misread dropdown, form submission that never triggered. Alumnium's agent finds the page, interacts with the date pickers correctly, reads the result, and returns the answer. That's not magic.
That's what a tight integration between browser state and model context actually buys you. But here's the thing: benchmark numbers and real-world performance are two different conversations. Alumnium scores impressively on WebVoyager, but WebVoyager tasks are relatively constrained. They're designed to be measurable, which means they're also designed to be finite and somewhat predictable. The benchmark doesn't capture what happens when a site uses heavy JavaScript rendering, when a CAPTCHA appears, when a login session expires mid-task, or when a site's layout changes after a deployment. In those conditions, Alumnium will struggle, not because of a flaw in the library, but because no browser automation tool handles those gracefully today.
It also doesn't work as a standalone agent. It's a library.
You need to wire it into your own agent loop, handle retries, manage state, and decide what to do when the agent gets confused. If you're looking for a plug-and-play autonomous browser, this isn't that. What it is an extremely clean building block for developers who are already building agent pipelines. What surprised me was how lightweight the integration actually is. You're talking about a few lines of code to get a working browser agent. That low friction matters more than people realize. Most agent tooling is either too opinionated or too complex to experiment with quickly. Alumnium hits a sweet spot. Now, where could this realistically go? The most credible near-term path is deeper integration with Claude Code specifically. Anthropic has been building out Claude's ability to use computers, not just write code but actually run it, test it in a browser, interact with web UIs. Alumnium is positioned exactly at that intersection. If the library becomes a standard way for Claude Code to browse the web during development tasks, validating that a deployed site works, scraping docs, filling test forms, that's a genuinely useful narrow use case that doesn't require the agent to be perfect, just good enough.
Another realistic direction is QA automation.
Teams that test web apps today spend enormous time writing brittle Playwright scripts that break every time the front end changes.
An agent-driven approach that understands the page semantically, not structurally, is much more resilient.
You describe what you want to test in plain language, Alumnium navigates it, and you get a pass or fail. That's a workflow that's almost ready today. If you're hosting that kind of agent pipeline, DigitalOcean's app platform handles the deployment side cleanly: long-running Python workers, browser containers, all of it, without the infrastructure overhead of spinning up Kubernetes for a side project.
So why does Alumnium exist? Because browser automation for AI agents is genuinely broken right now. The tools built for human testers, Selenium, Playwright, Cypress, work beautifully when a human writes deterministic scripts. They fall apart when an LLM is making decisions in a loop.
The DOM is too noisy, the state is too complex, and models hallucinate selectors that don't exist.
Someone had to build the translation layer.
The team behind Alumnium looked at that gap and decided the fix was giving the model a smarter view of the page, not asking the model to understand the raw HTML.
That's the insight.
It's not a new idea, but this is a clean, benchmarked, open source implementation of it, and that matters.
Is it the final answer for AI web browsing? No.
But it's one of the most honest attempts at solving a real problem in the agent stack.
The benchmark result is real. The limitations are real.
And the gap it fills, between LLMs that can reason and browsers that refuse to cooperate, is very real. Next episode, we're looking at another tool in the agent infrastructure space, one that handles something Alumnium explicitly doesn't: memory across sessions.
Subscribe so you don't miss it.